All right. So what's up, Facebook, YouTube, the racing world? So we are having some serious technical difficulties here tonight, but I want you to look right there, right there. I was on time. I was on time. So Gary is audio only tonight. I think that his laptop has
my computer took a shit.
Yeah, so it's done. That's we've got
My
a
new one
really
will be here Wednesday.
What's that?
My new one will be here Wednesday.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So we got a really cool show here for you tonight. I want to give a big shout out. What was the name of the four-cylinder guys from last week?
Rob Williams.
Okay. So Rob sent me a message. 68 cars they had sign in last week.
Yeah.
Dude, what an amazing show. I definitely have to catch one of them guys. And there he is. And big congrats to them, man. 68 cars, dude. That's a ton, especially four cylinders and stuff. So big shout out to them. Yeah, that's awesome. So Gary, like we said last week, Gary did a reach out and asked wives, girlfriends, moms we would like them to come on the show and let's talk about what it is that they go through during a race season or a Saturday night or even like a Sunday or whenever it is that they're racing. So we have who do we have? Alicia Traver, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she is the mom to Braden Traver, right? And Braden just moved up to Slingshots. We have Tara Waters. She is the wife of a two-time pro stock champion from the Orange County Fair Speedway and current sportsman runner, Bobby Waters. And then we also have the one, the only, my future wife, except her husband doesn't know yet, is Dawn Romer from the Bethel Motor Speedway, but she was also car owner and also helped with Brian Bauerfein, who is a multi-time track champion in four cylinders, street stock, up at the Bethel Motor Speedway. So without further ado, we're going to have a round table, and this is going to be, I think, the side of racing that not a lot of people get to see, but I think
Absolutely.
that it's I think that it's something that we need to discuss and something that we need to bring about, because everybody always talks about how, I want to thank my wife, my girlfriend, my mom, and these are some just a small portion of the great women that are behind some of the guys in racing. Before we do get started, I do want to give a personal shout out to Mr. Danny Creedon, the DC Express. Danny, thank you very much for bringing my wife water. They were getting slammed at the Orange County Fair Speedway at the back gate. She asked for water, and Danny was one of the only ones that brought that to her. And I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for that. And he had a good run. He finished fourth, right?
Yep. It was a good run.
So, but all right. So let's. I'm pretty sure they all identify as women. I don't mean that to be funny, but let's bring the ladies on. There's Tara, Alicia. There she is. That's my future wife right there. You guys didn't know that. So listen, I just made the comment. I'm pretty sure you guys could all hear me. We all you are all identifying as ladies.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So ladies, welcome to the show. Thank you. Listen, I don't judge.
Glad
Listen,
you specified that.
I'm just saying I have a kid who's a freshman in college, and oh my Lanta. So yeah, I'm as a dad just trying to be as politically correct as possible. Ladies, thank you for joining Gary and myself. I think this is going to be a really cool show. We did a small introduction. I kind of gave a little bit of background to each one of you. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, how are you involved with racing? Who are you with? Tara, if you want to start, we'll start with you.
Sure. So I'm Tara Waters. My husband's Bobby Waters. He races the 18W Sportsman right now. Like you said, two-time track champion. And, he's got he has one Sportsman win way back, so we're going for another one.
Yeah. So you said right now, does that mean that there's a small block or a modified in the future?
Well, I have no idea. We're just trying to get through one day at a time.
See, I don't get paid to do any of this shit, but you say those little key words, and I'm like, oh, wait, what's that? Is that a story?
Well, no. I mean, he loves pro stock, so it's really hard to, this was kind of a forced move, I think. It's like, unless you're going to travel or you're going to go far away or spend 2 hours traveling on the, every single weekend to go somewhere else. Yeah. But we live 4 minutes, 5 minutes from the track. So at this point, it's like no postdocs, and here we are.
Yep. I run past your house a lot on Thursday nights.
Really?
Yeah, literally like run. Yeah. 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 Not because I'm being chased by the police, but there's like a group that I run with. Yeah, listen, when you become a dad, like you just all of a sudden, like it's like, Father, yes, child. You don't smoke. Listen, I still like my beer, but yeah, I run now. Yeah, okay. But Dawn, let's go with you.
So obviously Brian started as a sponsor with Charlie Hoteling, and then they decided to go into 4 cylinders. Wasn't my favorite thing. And then after the 4-cylinder novice, 4-cylinder advanced championships, Brian was thrown out of 4 cylinders, banned, not allowed to back. So then he decided to go to street stock. Again, he got his street stock championship, and then he left and went up to Sportsman. And then he just decided that he'd rather either be a car owner or a car sponsor. And then now I do the promoting and marketing at Bethel Motor Speedway.
Right. So, Alicia, did I say that right? Alicia?
Yes,
okay.
You did. Thanks. Yeah.
I'm from Sullivan County. We do the best we can.
So I am the mother of Braden Traver. He started his racing in go-karting and up in Oakland Valley. We are venturing to dirt this year and going to be running a slingshot at Hamlin. Kind of scared for him because I am the mom. Not that it's any different than a girlfriend or a wife, but that's my baby out there. But he'll hate me for saying that. But oh well. But yeah,
he's young. He'll get over it. It's fine.
Yeah, he'll get over it. I'm excited for him though. It's going to be much different than what we're used to, but it'll be a good adventure for us.
So you said, and that's there's quite a. Now I said the show is going to probably be quick because we're all parents and 8 o'clock. But I think that we got something that's we're going to all discuss here for quite a bit. But you hit on something that you were scared. You were scared for him, or you're scared to watch him race. I want you to elaborate a little bit on that.
I guess
so because here's my point, right? We're all involved in a hobby. None of us are making any money at this. Braden is at an age now where if he starts to do well, there is a very small window that he may wind up doing this for a living. But for a hobby, the ultimate worst case scenario is death.
Thanks, Joel.
I'm being honest.
That's great.
Right? I mean, I just kind of want thoughts on that. I mean, because my wife said the same thing. She goes, I don't know how to explain to the kids that you died for something that you like to do as a hobby. So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, I'm scared to watch him. I'm scared of what can happen to him in a race car, in a go-kart, that it's dangerous. It's a very dangerous sport, but that passion, that love that he has, and also our family, friends have, that's what makes us keep coming back. Every day that he hits that racetrack, my heart is in my throat, and I'm scared to death what's going to happen the next turn or anything like that. But he loves it. He's good. He's talented. And that's what makes it worth it. He's successful in it. And we also just get to hang out with all of our friends all the time. And that kind of makes it worth it. Hopefully death is not our ultimate ending.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if he was on a football field, I'd be scared, So
right.
I guess it's just we're racing and it costs a hell of a lot of money, but he loves it. So that's why we continue to let him do it. And he's successful in it. So
Dawn, I mean, I've been there on a couple occasions and I've seen Brian take some serious hits, and Brian's actually lost work. He, and myself as well. I've been to the hospital twice because of an accident, and one I don't remember. What goes through your mind when you see stuff like that? I mean, because there was one night I was shocked to see Brian get out of the car. I really was.
So obviously I consider myself the strong one of the family, mentally wise. But when Brian would go out there racing, in all honesty, I would probably go through a whole pack of cigarettes just in the 25 laps he was out there. That kept my nerves calm. When he would get in those wrecks, couple bad ones, one that I'm thankful he walked away from. It definitely scared me, but I had to hold it in because my kids were there. So I couldn't let my kids see that I was scared because then they would panic. So if they see mom is okay, then they know they're okay. But meanwhile, inside, I'm dying inside. Like, shit,
Yeah.
Oh, am I allowed to curse on here? No.
You can. Listen, Facebook has not thrown us off yet.
Surprisingly.
Definitely scary. To be one of the first ones out there, to run out on the track, because obviously I worked there. So I was allowed to run out on the track, and I didn't care who was in my way. You can be the EMT, you can be the damn doctor. I don't care. I'm getting to them first. I have to see for my own eyes. I can't have somebody else. I can't imagine what it's like for the wives that can't go out on the track and have to wait for somebody else to tell you, oh, he's okay. No, it doesn't work that way.
Tara, what I mean, I've seen Bobby. I mean, the sportsman division, let's face it, that's a rough class. That's a rough class no matter where you go. And I've seen Bobby in a couple of tangles as well, and he kind of gets out like,
Yeah, and he's been really lucky. He had one really bad wreck before before I knew him. I think it's the red car. That's what he's going to say. It's the red car, and he ended up in the hospital and stuff. But it doesn't make it any different that I've never seen like a bad one. Like I've seen friends and, other racers and, the guys that go through the wall and end up in the drive-in and, like stuff like this. So, every second out there is like, you love and hate to watch, if anybody's near the trailer when he's on the track, they will see me walking back and forth. I will be at the end of the trailer.
So do you watch the race or you don't watch?
So I have a hard time going up on the trailer. I have a hard time like watching the whole thing. It's just a rough class. I mean, usually he'll come in and something had happened and, you got bent stuff. That's not a big deal as long as he's okay. But like when you can't see him or you see somebody like that, is losing control or, and they're right there. And then it's all that money. It's all that money.
Yeah.
Not only just him, but it's everything he's worked for so long, and it's a rough class. It's hard to watch.
Leisha, what about you? Do you watch Braden race?
I do. And
no issues whatsoever?
No, because no one usually wants to stand next to me because I'm the that is up and down the fence and pacing and yeah, you can ask anybody. Brian and I do not, my husband and I, we do not stand next to each other at the racetrack. He is completely on one side and I am on the complete other side. We are never together when we watch a race. This is just how we've been doing it ever since Braden started racing. We never watch a race together.
So I asked the same questions to my wife because I kind of wanted to get like a little bit of feedback prior to coming on here. Because ultimately at the end of the day, is it a great sport? Absolutely it is. Have I made great friends? Yes, I have. But at the end of the day, worst case scenario, you can get killed. And I asked her the same thing. And I believe that she said one of her worst times was for me was Eastern States. My whole family works at Orange County. My sister works in the office. My wife works the back gate. My brother-in-law is now the race director. I got hit in the door and I wound up on the wall and the radios went silent. And Middletown is huge. It's 5/8 of a mile and nobody's saying a word. And she's waiting. And then all she got was, listen, you're going to want to go over to the ambulance. And that's got to be one of the worst feelings in the world. And I know that, my kids are going to start wanting to race soon. And that makes me nervous because I know what goes through, a parent's mind. And plus, not to mention, I think she was like 9 months pregnant at the time when that happened. So that's when it started with the full containment seat, the Hans device, the new goddamn helmet every 2 years, the fire suit that was $1,200. And I get that. I understand that. What is it that you guys do to not have that on your head all the time? Because we're spending a ton of money, and those are Bahamas vacations. Those are new cars. Those are pools. What do you guys do to help keep that out of your mind?
I think it's always in your mind. I don't think it doesn't really go away. Every time he goes out on the track, every time, you're standing in the trailer before the races, you think about it all. Friday nights, I don't really sleep well ever, just because that I just get so worked up. We used to not eat on Saturdays because I would get so sick. You just they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. What are you going to do? It's on your mind all the time, and it's one of those things that you don't want to be the one to bring them down. So you just kind of keep it all in.
Yeah.
You just kind of, right? I mean, that's
Exactly.
you just kind of keep it all in and try to be as strong as you can. And when something goes wrong, you're the first one running and screaming and, everything else. So it's just.
Dawn's pretty quick. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I've been pretty quick myself.
Yeah.
My famous thing, like before we'd pull up to the track on a Saturday, I'd always pray for that rain out. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't handle it. Just rain out. And he'd be like, stop jinxing me. Stop me. I don't want to rain. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'd pull over. I'm like, all right, I'll take a couple shots. That's what'll get me through the Saturday. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
He quit racing. I quit smoking.
Yeah. Alicia, how about you? I mean, because you know what I mean? I mean, he's just a young kid.
He is. The one thing that we always said when we started this is we would never skip on any safety equipment.
Mm-hmm.
That is top priority. He will have the best of the best, no matter what it costs, because that's what's going to save him. That's what's going to protect his body. And Braden, unfortunately, has gotten in some nasty crashes in his go-karts, and those are 2 inches off the ground. You're not in a containment seat.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
My buddy Jimmy Smith, his granddaughter last year, oh my gosh, Schneidersville. They hit head on, right? What'd she break, Gary? She broke her brainstem.
Yeah, brainstem.
Yeah. And there's no, I don't think there was a Hans device or any of that. And Yeah.
So that's what we do. We just make sure that he has what he needs and it's on and it's on properly. And, that is one thing we would never, ever skimp on because it's not worth it.
So we've touched on the morbid shit, but the stuff that I was really curious, I mean, because this is the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, you know what I mean? So Brian owns his own business, right? So Brian's 80 to 100 hours a week, and then it's another probably 40, 50 hours in the shop, right? I know Bobby works his ass off. I'm not sure what your husband does. I think he sells drugs. I'm not really sure. I'm just making it up. I'm kidding. I don't think he sells drugs. But so let's talk a little bit about the hours and time that it takes away from the family. Are you guys, and you can be honest, you don't have to answer. Are you guys okay with that? Because when my wife and I first got together, I was already racing. I was already a few years in, and she had kids prior to the kids that we have together. And I said to her, listen, I'm going to miss some holidays. I'm going to miss some birthdays, and I'm going to miss some, outings with the kids. Are you guys okay with that, or how do you guys navigate that?
I know for us, we make time. We try and balance it as much as we can. But I mean, you are investing so much money and so much time into racing that you need to be at the races. It's such a short season that you need to, all this money you're investing, you need to get your money's worth. We're fortunate enough that honestly, most of our family and friends are at the racetrack. So we get to hang out with them and we get to see them. And that's kind of what we do. We just hang on a Saturday night or when we're go-karting, it's a Sunday during the day.
Right.
I mean, we have missed races for things, but very little because just the time and the money that you put into it, you need to be present.
We will base what we do as far as family vacations and stuff around the racing season because of either me racing or because my wife works in Orange County. Tara, I know that Bobby walked away for, God, it's got to be almost 10 years that he walked away when Maddie was born?
Yeah, so his last win was in 2010, and I was pregnant with Maddie at that time. And that was the last season that he raced until very recent, until last year.
Was it because she was... Was it because the baby was, Maddie was coming, or was it just?
Well, then the sponsorship was different. He's been super fortunate, with CJM, super fortunate with LNL, and now we have a new.
That's some shameless plugs right there. Good job.
Yeah. But he's got great sponsorship this year. Back then, it was coming out of our pocket.
Right.
It was very small stuff was coming from, sponsorships, and it was coming from basically us. And, we had just got married. We had just bought a house and then found out we were pregnant in less than a year. Right. So it was a huge, it was very hard for him. Yeah. It was very hard for him.
Dawn, I can relate more to your situation because I'm kind of in the same one. Not only do you have a big extended family, but you're also foster parents as well. I have 6 kids between my wife and I. 3 came at the least, and then I made 3 more. But then we also have an additional 5 kids. So there's a total of 11 kids in our house. How do you guys manage family vacation? Well, I listen. Anybody who follows you on social media knows how you manage it. But how do you guys do that now that? I mean, because there was even Brian was racing and you were working the track. How did you guys manage all of that and still maintain a positive relationship with the kids?
So we're very fortunate that the garage is right outside my door.
Okay.
The kids we're always out in the garage with Brian. Never once did he say, no, they can't come out here. I made it very clear, you can go out in the garage and have your time in the garage, but if the kids want to be out there with you, they're going to be out there. If your friends don't like it, they can leave.
Yeah.
This is family. So obviously there's 8 of them plus a grandchild, but they're always out in the garage. It's very handsy. All the kids, they're always at the track, doing something, whether they're helping him or working at the track now. But even when they're little, they're always at the track screaming against the fence. They do have some big mouths.
Sorry, I laughed really loud.
I don't know where they get that from. But vacation-wise, we always did spring break, and we made sure it felt like. So, like this year, example, we're leaving on a Sunday, coming back on a Friday. That way, we don't miss a Saturday. But
we're just talking about going to London again for my second oldest daughter's sweet 16, and we're like, we can do a Friday to. Or what is it? We can do a Sunday to a Friday, and then that doesn't mess with race season.
Yep. Yeah. We in the summertime we camp, but we camp local, so we're only a half hour, 45 minutes from the track. So on Saturdays we can drive to the track. And then me and Brian, we always vacation in the winter, just the 2 of us.
Yeah. Alicia, how did obviously the kids, you guys are going racing with the kids. How did you guys get involved with racing? Was it a family member or was it something that Braden wanted to do? How did you guys get involved?
So my father-in-law raced at Oaken Valley, raced in go-karts. He's touched in some sportsman, wingless sprints, things like that. So that's how he got started. And we, even before I had them, when Brian and I first started dating, I was always at the racetrack with him. And then it was just kind of a matter of time before he started. Right. And then our daughter, she has gotten into a go-kart, but she has no interest, and I'm totally fine with that. 1 is enough.
Well, according to her brother, that's not a bad thing. He spoke at the car show.
He talks a lot of crap.
Does Tara? Does Maddie goes to the racetrack with you guys?
She does go to the racetrack. Yeah, she doesn't. It's hard. She's in that preteen stage, so she's
I know.
like,
Dawn, you know.
And she's not interested in driving at all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really. She loves to watch Dad race, and her thing is if I'm not there and he wins, then what?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we go, but we also give up birthday parties with friends and things like that. Like there's many. This year's a little different. She's getting older. You know, we're going to be missing quite a few races because he's going, but I won't be there, which is a whole different issue.
Do you have? Does that make you answer it? Don't answer it. Does that upset you that he's willing to go and you have to go with Maddie?
No, because that's what he's doing. I mean, he invested in this season and put tons of time into this. You know, he's working nights, which is crazy. And so I don't see him Monday through Friday as it is. Mm-hmm. So Monday through Friday, he works. I finally see him Friday night at like midnight, and we're going racing Saturday. So he works on the car. Sorry.
Dawn, you want to keep it down? Tara's talking. Thank you.
So it's been more difficult this year for for us. It's because she's getting older. She's got birthday parties and this and that, and we're going on a vacation. So.
Right. So I think what's my two older Joshua doesn't come to the races with Josh's autism and stuff, the loud noises and it's really just not an environment for him. But my two older daughters now work at Orange County Fair Speedway. They're ticket takers, and the wife works there. And then I go race at Bethel, and then we call them the three littles. The three littles actually come with me. And what I've done is I've started to, and plus a couple of the kids that live with us also come with me as well, Cameron. I started to incorporate them as part of helping. My daughter Kerrigan is 11, and I let her back the car out of the trailer. I let Cameron back the car out of the trailer. Jojo goes and grabs tires or grabs the tire gauge, and he thinks he's the tire guy. You know what I mean? And is that something that you guys, I mean, Dawn, I've seen Zarek. I mean, Zarek just won an award for what this kid does at the racetrack. I've seen Zarek run around and just help whoever he can. Is that what you guys instilled in him, or is that just what he does?
Zarek has been in the garage, Brian, since he was in diapers. I remember, obviously Brian does home improvements. Zarek would be on the job sites with him. Brian would take the playpen with him, just because he wanted his boy next to him, So here he is remodeling somebody's home, playpen with a little toddler running around the playpen. Zarek loves to, take things apart, put them back together. And I think more so in the last 5 years, he's taken an interest in the race cars. And then when Billy Deckelman took over, Brian's car, Zarek just was like, nobody's touching the car. And Billy would say the same thing. Like he would go to Zarek. He wouldn't even go to Brian, who owned the car. He went right to Zarek. Was like, "Hey, what should we do here? Hey, what should we do here?" And I said, Zarek would give the shit back for anybody, and help anybody.
Yeah. So
he's gonna miss it this year.
Yeah. So each one of you have incorporated the kids and all that stuff involved with racing, and I think that's the point that we're trying to make, because each one of us knuckleheads that have been involved with this sport for as long as we have, and we always say thank you. And we never see who we're thanking. And I just wanted to give the opportunity to the three of you to say thank you, for allowing your son and your husbands and your boyfriend and your future husband, Dawn, to do what it is that we do, because we're very selfish. Race car drivers are very selfish. I think we know that. We don't want to admit that, but we're very selfish. And we take a lot of time away from family, a lot of time and money away from the house. The bills are always paid. I've never let my electricity get shut off, but if I have $5 left and everything is paid, I'm going to spend that $5 going racing. So just a big thank you to all of you. It really, and it means a lot. And I don't think that, I don't think enough husbands and boyfriends say that enough, Have you guys ever had that, that moment where you just wanted to be done with it, that you just, but where it's almost caused an issue like in a relationship? Has that ever come about? Somebody's getting divorced after this.
No.
I'm like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't ask that.
Definitely call, like it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. There's no good answer. It's just hard. I mean, you have to make it work. If you love your
honestly
spouse,
told him when we've
yeah.
got car, but
What's that? You broke up completely. We didn't even
Yeah.
hear things you said. What was that? Dawn, repeat what you said.
I said we have arguments, and I'm not gonna lie. I've said, well, if you didn't spend the money on the race car, we could have got this and this and that. But then next week, I'm like, you didn't win. He's like, well, I didn't spend the money on the race car.
Listen.
now you can spend the money on the race car.
Yeah. Listen, my wife's car has needed tires, and I'll wait an extra week or two because I had to buy a tire for the race car. 100%. Yeah, that's so shitty.
Like my deal when I was racing, my wife got the full brunt of everything. Like I'd come home from work, go in the garage, and then it's dinner time. She'd want me to come in and eat dinner. I don't have time to eat dinner, and then you catch the attitude with them. It's just that kind of thing, the everyday relationship of working in the garage night after night. There's times she would come to bed by herself. I'm still in the garage on a Thursday night scaling the race car to go race at Accord Friday night. It just sucks because the women are the first ones that catch the wrath as you walk through the door. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I am extremely grateful the past couple of seasons for Tony Garaguzzo. Tony does probably 99.9% of the maintenance on the car and just does everything. Believe me when I tell you I pay for it though, and that's even more. So not only am I paying for parts and all that other stuff, I'm paying for, what it is that he's doing. Alicia, how do you manage with who is work? I mean, because it doesn't matter what you're racing, everything needs maintenance. How are you managing school and racing with Braden? Is there a certain standard he has to meet? Like you have to have at least a C average, and if you want to go rate, how do you manage that?
No, he knows that school is priority, and if he does not do well in school, then there's no racing. We don't take C's in this house. We like A's, B's, I guess, but yeah, I mean, I am very fortunate that he is a very good kid. He's a very good student. He does well, but he knows the consequences of not doing well. So you don't do well in school, you don't race.
And that's the way it should be. Honestly, my father said, listen, I'll help you any way I can other than money. But as far as knowledge goes, that if this is what you want to do, then it's going to be on you. Yep. What was there was another question that I wanted to ask and I can't remember. Gary, what was it? Oh, here we go. So let's hit on the fact that there are more downs than there are ups in racing. And again, race car drivers, okay, so we've already established we're selfish. We spend a shit ton of money. And we are also babies. We really are. When things don't go our way or we have a bad night, how do you guys deal with our PMS? How do you guys deal with that? Alicia, let's start with you because yours is easy. Because you're listen, I just sent him to his goddamn room. That's what I do. Has there ever been a situation where he's kind of like lost his mind at the racetrack, or he had a bad night and you got to deal with that the rest of the week?
I mean, not really, because
give it time.
What? I mean, he's young, so he's had bad days. He's had tough race days, he's had moments, but he gets over it quickly because
if we could take his mentality and put it into every single driver now as a grown up, racing would be even that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he definitely, like I said, he has his moments, but we can't let that one moment ruin everything else. So that's what we try and teach him, and he's pretty good with it. We do allow him to have his moment and have his, meltdown or whatever it is, but don't let it last the whole day because it's not worth it.
Right. Because then it's going to affect everybody, right?
Yeah.
It affects his sister. It'll affect you. It affects everybody, right?
Right.
So Tara, how about you?
I don't know. Bob's really he's pretty just chill. Like when he gets upset, he gets quiet.
Smokes weed.
Might be angry. He might talk to me a little bit, just tell me what's going on, and then that's it. It's mostly his mom and I who really lose it. We seem to lose it a little more than he does. I mean, he gets very quiet. He gets very quiet, and he just plays it over and over and over. He just analyzes everything. He'll tell me that he's upset or tell me what's going on or he's frustrated, and then he goes for a walk. He just needs to go.
Dawn, I'm really curious to hear your response.
At the bit.
Well,
Dawn's
because
this one.
Brian reacts sometimes the same way that I do. I mean, it's been a few years since my crazy has come out. But there was a time when I'm not even going to mention the year, but we had a birthday and the night before was not good. It was not good. And and Carrie put a sign on the door and it said, "We are not talking about racing. We're not talking about last night. If anybody brings it up, you can kindly leave." And she was not kidding. It was that bad. It was that bad. And when she lays down the law like that, I just, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go do the dishes. Dawn.
So when Brian first started racing, nothing bothered him, believe it or not. He was calm, cool, collective, didn't give two shits, blah, 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 blah. Me, on the other hand, was like, nah, that's my money you're messing with that. I mean, I got a couple pink slips, a few times, quite a bit, and then I was like, I mean, Bethel, obviously, there's woods. So I spent a few months, watching the races from the tree line. Oh, I know. I bring my case of beer with the little park bench up in the tree line there, and I'd sit there in between turn 2 and 3, right up there, and watch the races, drink my beer. It was nice. No kids to bother me. Just me, myself, and I, dressed all in black, so nobody's seen me.
Yeah. But
the years went on, and obviously they put me in a different role at the racetrack, and I had to be professional and calm down somewhat.
Yeah.
I did. It calmed down a lot, but Brian took over my craziness, and he's lost his shit a few times at the track, and the couple times to the point where I couldn't even control him. But then when we get home and he'd still be carrying on, I'd whack him in the back of the head and tell him, "I'm going to bed. I don't want to hear it no more. Good night."
Yeah.
And then he'll carry on, and I'm like, "You."
So I mean, it's no secret. I mean, I've had a pink slip a couple of times from Orange County, and and instead of even hearing my case or hearing, because Carrie doesn't watch me race ever. She never watches. She doesn't watch. She doesn't want to watch. She'll go, but she doesn't watch. And it's usually, well, what did you do? It's never, I can't believe they did that. You know what I mean? It's usually, well, what did you do? And the problem is I've lost my shit so many times over the years that she's not wrong. She's not wrong. And I think people know once I get provoked that I'm only going to take so much, and then my crazy comes out. But I think that for me, what's calmed me down, number one was, why am I going to spend all this money to have a good time and be goddamn miserable?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing too is my kids are older now. So you try to set that example for them. And if you're out there acting like a jackass and dropping steering wheels, because it dropped, I'm sticking with that story. Then you're not setting a good example for them. There was an incident a few years ago and at Bethel, and I could not believe that I handled it the way I did. And not that I need oh my God, I was an adult. It really wasn't, but it was a situation where years prior, it would have got ugly. And I literally tried to get the guy to get back into. He came at me with his flatbed, and I tried to get him back in the truck. And I turned around, and here's Dawn standing there, and 30 other people, and I couldn't believe it. But it was one of those where younger, as Emerson Cargain calls it, my teenage years, that would have been bad. It would have been bad. It would have been, you know what I mean? Do you think that? Well, Bobby's always been even keel. You know what I mean? He's
so
really
good.
kind of a mellow dude. I think he's a closet pothead.
No.
But he's always been very level-headed though. I've seen Brian in some a couple of rare moments. Do you see that with Braden at all, Alicia, or is he pretty does he feed off of how you and your husband are feeling, or how does that work for him?
I think he has his own feelings, and he is pretty level-headed, but he knows what we expect from him. He knows what behavior he should have at the racetrack. And you can be angry, and when he comes off the racetrack and he doesn't take his helmet off, don't talk to him. Let him have his moment. He needs to do whatever he needs to do within that helmet, and then he'll be good to go. Yeah. But he knows he needs to be respectful and behave and don't act crazy. Yeah. Leave that to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let's talk about the highs. I mean, one of the coolest things twice, and I'm just gonna keep saying it because I've been at Bethel for a couple of years now. Number one was Zarek won a 4-cylinder race. Was it last year or the year before?
Last year.
And what I saw from your family was absolutely amazing. It was awesome. And then the other one was Charlie Hoteling. Easton, Charlie Hoteling has been racing Bethel Motor Speedway. The family's been around since I think the Speedway opened. They might have been living there and they just built a track around them. They're like, you don't want to be raced, do you? And Easton had won his first feature, and it was one of the coolest moments ever. You know what I mean? To watch that. So for you, Alicia, I mean, do you guys try to hang on to those moments a little bit longer, or is it okay? Listen, we accomplished that. That was amazing. Let's move on to the next. How does that work for you guys?
I think we soak in that moment, but then the next race, right. We kind of we enjoy the moment in that moment, and then we move forward because we're always trying to accomplish something, especially this year. He is going to be in a much different type of racing, different crowd, different rules. I mean, it's completely different than what he's used to. We're hoping to get him, he gets a win this year. And I think if he wins this year, his father is going to cry like a baby.
I think the division that he's going into, the slingshots, it's one of the most competitive divisions I've ever seen. It's almost like the sportsman division. It really is. And
it's such a cool track too.
Yeah,
it is. It is a really cool track. So we're excited, and we're looking forward to the many hopefully wins, and if not, at least the time we get to spend as a family at the racetrack.
Yeah. And Tara, how do you guys deal with the fact that that it's been so long since Bobby's had a win, and I know he struggled quite a bit with this car, and how do you deal with? I mean, because I don't foresee him at home, being a cranky ass. I really don't.
Yeah, no, he really isn't. This is a different car this year. We have a new car this year.
Nice.
Last year was quite the struggle to get the setup. I don't even know if we had a setup that stayed in the car more than a week or two. It just kept trying and trying, but they did not back down. It was each week things got better, and then we would change something, and it was okay, I'm not so sure that worked, and we're gonna go back, and then he'd get wrecked or something. So it's every week we just wanted seat time, and he really didn't drive the Sportsman that long, so it's very different from a pro stock.
Yeah.
So he took the time last year and really figured out a driving style, but it was very hard to keep the car underneath him. He was always way out, way off. So hopefully this year, there's lots of new stuff to the car. The car is new, so I'm hoping that, he has a good shakedown next week. And it really is, because we haven't had practice. So even opening night will be like this. So but hopefully everything works out. You know, he
So
just
I
every week.
I know that we went past that 8:00 mark, but I got a couple of more questions. This has been an absolutely really a great time because it's not any different than what I go through in my own racing career and stuff like that. What is it that keeps you guys involved? I mean, Dawn, I know you've been involved over 10 years. Tara, I mean, God, it's gonna be over 20 years now, right? With racing and stuff like that. Alicia, what is it that keeps you guys involved and keeps you being okay with the way, because it's a lifestyle, what is it that keeps you guys going? Tara, we'll start with you.
It's definitely a family thing. His mom and dad used to come. His dad has a hard time watching him now. He gets very nervous, but mom's there as much as she can. And she splits, between 2 tracks now because her grandson's racing. And, it's just, he loves it so much. And you love the family, you love the friends, like you love just being there on Saturdays. Yes, it takes a lot away from family and friends, and it drives my mother crazy when I'm like, nope, it's a Saturday,
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that my family on my side has gone through. But at the same time, like it's just who he is. He was that way when I fell in love with him,
Yeah.
So at this point it's support him as best he can. Things change as the kids get older and it's much harder. But I am sacrificing this year to take my daughter to certain things when I know that he's going to be at the track, and we race with our best friends, Chris and Danielle Marino. And, we get to see them every single weekend and their kids. I mean, if you ever walk by our pit, we have like 7 children in the trailer. So, so it's definitely a family and friends thing. And that, honestly, that's what makes it. And everybody, for the most part, is just nice people. Like everybody's there doing the same thing. Like, it's a Saturday you're spending with your family that's not your family. So it's important to him, and that makes it important to me.
Yeah. Dawn, how about you? What keeps you staying involved with racing? Especially now that Brian's not even a car owner.
True. Well, he's looking at me funny, so honestly, it's the friends we've made along the way. We've really, really, really great friends. And, Mike have made a lot of aunt and uncles, over the years. They've all grown up there. They've all grown up around. Yeah. As long as they want to keep going, we'll continue going. When they finally say, "Matt, we're done, we're out,"
Yeah, yeah. I think I told Felicity one time at one of the banquets, I had a couple of drinks in me, and I said to her, listen, you got a lot of dads here. And she was like, what? I was like, so you're good to go. And I think it was one, and I think that's true. There was a time when Kerrigan would walk around the pits at Orange County and Mary Meyer would walk over and go, "Oh, you're coming with me." And she would go hang out, and she became like the little mayor of that. You know what I mean? And I think it's just the small community. Yeah. Yeah. Alicia, how about you? I mean, how long have you guys been racing now? It's been a couple of seasons, right?
Since he was 7. Yeah.
And how old is he now?
12.
He needs to get a job. That's what he needs to do.
Yes, he really does.
So what keeps you guys going? Just the fact that
I think that just everything that these 2 ladies have said, the same thing. Just our friends who've become family, and we also with go-karting get to race with our best friends, Mike Doty and Ray Doty. They, Mike owns his racing team, and that's who we race with, and they're also our best friends off the racetrack. So we get to see them and have fun with them and hang out with them and everyone else that's at the racetrack. And I mean, we do have people, "Oh, why do you race so much? Why do you invest so much time?" But it's what we love. We love to, if we're not racing, we're watching racing, right. So whether we would be involved in racing and on the racetrack, we'd be watching it at the racetrack. So it's kind of one of those things that it's just what we love as a family. And I'm fortunate that my daughter actually loves going to the races, even though if you ask her, she'll tell you no, but she does. And it's just, he loves it, and if he wasn't as passionate and didn't have the love for racing that he has, we probably wouldn't stick with it. But this kid lives and breathes racing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I usually ask most of the drivers that come on here, if there was one race that you could possibly win, what would it be other than the Daytona 500? So I've sat and I've listened to each one of you, and I think that the question that I'd like to ask is, if you guys were not involved with racing, what would it be that you would like to be doing other than racing?
I thought you were going to ask which race we wanted them to win, because I have that answer. No.
Okay, so then answer that, and then answer the other one.
For me, what I would have well, obviously it's no longer, but I would have loved to see him win Syracuse.
Oh well, yeah. So what would you be doing without racing?
Probably a lot at the beach. We'd be at the beach. The beach. My parents have a house in Jersey, and he loves it there. My daughter loves it there, even though she's a redhead and she burns in the sun. She loves it there, but that's where we would be enjoying that. I mean, but the other thing is on a Friday night, he wouldn't have races, say on a Friday night, no Saturday races. And we'd do a date night and go to Accord. So, what do you do? Well, we're not racing, but here we're going on a date to go out racing. So it's just, it's been that way for a long time. So,
Dawn, what about you? I'm really curious to hear what you would have. What would you be doing without racing?
I honestly don't know. We've been doing it for so long and so many different aspects of it. I mean, he's behind the camera right now making obscene gestures, but
Joel, don't let her fool you. We'll be on the beach.
I
Don't let her fool you. We'll be on the beach.
No, if she had it,
we would be on the beach.
But I mean, granted, I'm from the beach, so we'd definitely be on more vacations. But I honestly don't know. Like, if we right now on a weekend, now we're like,
yeah.
I feel like block out this part of my I can't take him right now in the background.
Alicia, how about you?
I have no idea, honestly. Our life is so consumed in racing. So, I mean, the beach, yeah. My mom lives down at the shore, so we'd probably spend many weekends down there, but I don't know otherwise.
So when COVID hit, I did the same thing. I stood in the driveway one Saturday and was like, what the hell do I do?
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it for so long. I've been doing it for over 20 years. So we invented new stuff. And then I realized what life was like away from racing. And I got a glimpse of it's not bad. And I don't know if that, I'm not going to say it scared me. Like, oh my God, it scared me. But I think it kind of opened my eyes. Like my kids and we built the fire pit right here at the house, and we used material that we found in the yard. And it got to where, for me, if I'm not having a good time with racing, then I walk away for a week or two, and I'll take the kids to the drive-in, or we'll go to the movie theater. And it's and to me, it's really weird to do stuff like that because you've been doing it for so long. So you almost like you feel good that, listen, man, I took a break and I said I was going to take a break and that's what happened. But you almost feel like you're missing something.
Right.
I mean, Tara, I don't know how you guys did. I mean, well, you guys still went to the races and stuff, but I don't know how. I don't know how Bobby did it so many years not being a driver. I'm always like, listen, I don't want to go watch a race because if I show up to Bethel without my car, I'm like, I should have brought the goddamn car.
Yeah. And he helped Bob McGinnon for a long time. And so he was going every week. And I was going some weekends when I could, but Maddie was little. It was hard to keep her. And she was all over the place. But without it, it was very difficult for him. But at the same time, like, are you missing something? And then it's like you go back racing and you're like, oh, I miss this, And so it's a catch-22. It's really a hard thing. It's really a hard thing.
Have any of you ever any of you ever had a desire to possibly try it yourselves?
No.
Yes.
That was quick. She said no.
Nope.
Yes.
And they have tried to get me in a go-kart for years, and I refuse because I don't want to know what it feels like to be what he's doing. I don't want to feel half-assed he's going because
Yeah.
I'm already
Well, his
there.
ass is like
It
that far from the ground. I told him
Right,
that. So listen,
right.
man, your ass way too close to the ground for
Right.
me, bud.
So I just
yeah.
nope, no thank you. I'll
Yeah.
just watch.
Tara, what about you?
So,
Tisha Curry just popped in. She said, "Do it." She said, "Do it." Listen, she
So-
just whipped Kyle Welch's ass.
it wouldn't be to drive like a car like Bob's car. Like it
Yeah.
wouldn't be something like that. But like when we went up to Hamlin, I got the itch so bad to get one of those little cars and the ones with the motorcycle engines in them and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah. So I contemplated. I wouldn't drive like a sportsman or something like that. But yeah. It's
You do it once, you're hooked.
Yeah.
What that, I know. Then we'll really be broke.
Dawn, what about you? Have you ever?
It's better if I stay out of it. Have you seen?
So years ago, Middletown was trying to start a 4-cylinder division, and my sister and my wife both wanted one. And because my sister's actually won, I think she won one feature in Middletown. When they used to do the powder puff races,
Yes.
and I let her drive my street stock a couple
I remember
times.
that. I remember.
Yeah. But then I said to Carrie, I was like, listen, yeah, let's do that. Let's get you a car. And then she was like, listen, it wouldn't be a good idea. She feels that she would be over competitive and it would probably end in a fight.
Yep.
And I was like, now that you said that, I don't ever want to hear about any shit that I ever do again at the racetrack. But yeah. So, but all right. So ladies, I can't thank you all enough. I mean, it's this has been pretty cool. It really has. If there's anything that you guys would like to add or anything you guys would like to hit on, please. I've made you all very uncomfortable. So, but I really do. I appreciate each and every one of you coming on and sharing your thoughts, and I appreciate the honesty. This was a great idea by Gary. I don't think that anybody has ever really, us idiots, we always say, I want to thank my wife, my girlfriend, my sister, my mom. And I don't think that anybody ever realizes what it is that you guys go through on a Saturday night all year round. I mean, because racing is 365 days a year, 24 hours. That's all we do. When the season ends, we're getting ready for the next season. And listen, I thank you all very much, and I appreciate what it is that you do. And I would really love to have you guys back on later in the year to really see how you're feeling right around July or August.
Yep.
Well, there's only 1 week off in July for sportsmen, so everybody's going on vacation that week.
That's going to be the week I'm going to ask you to please come on the show. We're going to put a parent advisory warning right across the top. So, but all right, ladies, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you, and again, we appreciate you. We as us, us Neanderthal men, crybaby, selfish guys. We call ourselves race car drivers. We can't thank any of you enough. We really can't. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Joel.
Thank you for having me.
No
Thanks,
worries.
Gare.
Dawn, thanks for
All right.
keeping it tame.
Always.
I was definitely concerned about her.
I asked Gary, I said, Gary, do you have like one of those like mute things? And he goes, no, man, we should be okay though.
Wow. My good love.
So, ladies, lots of luck for the rest of the season. And again, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I think Gary's he's there somewhere. Gary, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
I've been taking it all in.
Yeah, man. All right, ladies, good luck for the rest of the year, and thank you again so much.
Thanks,
you.
Joel. Bye, Gare.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
All right, man. So you still there?
I'm here.
Dude, that was my wife came in the door and she was like,
Yeah.
dude, that was a really, really good show.
I was watching the amount of people, in and out. There was definitely a lot of people tuning into that one. Like I said, it gives a different perspective on things. You know what I mean?
It does. It does.
It's cool.
Yeah, I think that maybe every couple of weeks or so, I wouldn't mind bringing somebody new on. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
and talking about that. I
Especially
mean,
as the season goes on, when things
Yeah.
are starting to struggle and
Yeah.
stuff like that. No, I agree. I like the idea. Like I said,
Yeah.
I mentioned it, for a while ago, and I was sitting on it, and I said, let's do it.
Yeah,
I think it was a success. I think it was good.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. So it is thanks, Bobby. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. Listen, man, they did an amazing job. Tara did awesome. Alicia did absolutely amazing. And Dawn's a character, so she's
Dawn is Dawn.
Yeah, I think Dawn is the female version of me. So it's all good, man. She's very she's an extrovert. It's awesome. But so
Tanya,
we've
you're the next one that's got to come on. We definitely need that point of view.
Who's that?
Tanya Creedon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah. Tanya, I agree. Listen, give me a thumbs up if you want to come on here in the next couple of weeks. I would definitely love to have her on here.
Absolutely.
Silence. It's silence. So, all right, folks. Thank you so much for being patient with us tonight. We had some technical difficulties, as you can see. Again, where is it? Right there. Right there. There we go. I was on time. Okay, Gary, there it is. We're gonna book Tanya on the show here in the next couple of weeks. Tanya Creed, and that's gonna be a good time right there. Yeah,
absolutely.
And so
have some more stories.
Oh my Lanta, I'm sure. But yeah, we appreciate everybody watching Facebook, YouTube. Like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button wherever it is. It's somewhere over there. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate each and every one of you. And this show has become something that we never thought that it would. It was just a couple of into racing. Thank you for your patience. And hopefully we will see you all next week. I believe Mondays now, right? We're going to do Mondays.
Mondays a day. Yes.
Yeah. So the race season is in full bore. Congrats to, I think it's Gary's favorite race car driver, Matt Shepard.
There was no winner.
So Matt Shepard picks up the short track Super Series of the Harclay Open down the Orange County Fair Speedway.
Control was on full bore.
Yeah, buddy. And then it's what do we got? Bethel Motor Speedway. I don't know if they're coming this weekend. The 9th. They do, I believe, have a practice, and then they have an enduro. And then the following week is also going to be a practice, and I think maybe an enduro. Not sure, but yeah. So racing is here, man. It's here. It's hit us, and we're all pretty excited. Again, thank you to Dawn Romer, Tara Waters, and Alicia Traver. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're you need to get out and support your local racetrack. If you're not and you're on social media and you're bashing the racetrack, you are part of the problem. We will see you guys hopefully next week.
Yes, sir. Good night, buddy.
Have a good one.